Hello, this is Ryan Downey, the streaming advisor, and I've got something really exciting for you to see today. It's the new Gbox Q3. This is their newest device. It's building on the success of other Matricom products, and you'll see the box, for all it matters, is very simple. I actually kind of like that it doesn't have a whole bunch of literature on the side and on the back. But let's open it up and show you what we have inside. There we go, Matricom. First off, it has this. It's just a simple guide that shows you how the remote works, what the buttons do, and a section that shows you what you get inside the box. This includes the remote. This is a different kind of remote than what I'm used to with Matricom. This is a kind of a little sleeker. We'll see how well it works in action, but it's got directional buttons, an air mouse button, volume here, a back button, the home button, and that's really pretty much it outside of the power button. Obviously you get the unit, and it looks like Gbox always has actually. It's got the G, and like others, it's got your basics. It's got your USB ports on the back. It's got HDMI, it's got your optical audio, an Ethernet port, which is very important because that's the way I really prefer to do streaming, as well as, of course, the sound and your power jack, because otherwise, how would you plug it in? Inside, you have batteries for the remote, an HDMI cord, the power cord, because otherwise, how would you turn it on? And here's a cool little bonus that I've never seen with another device. This is a tool so that you can reset the box if you have to. We've done videos on what they call the toothpick method. And basically you just need a tool to get down into the audio slot right here. But it's actually, they finally actually listed as the reset. It's never been listed as reset, but there's a little reset port. And you go in and you tap it with the tool. So you got yourself this kind of cool like little mini sword, and that's what you use that for. So that's cool. So that's it. You got this, you got this, got the controller and the power stuff. And we're going to set this up on the TV and let you see what it looks like in action.
Okay, so this is what you're going to see when you get the Gbox booted. It kind of jumps into a wizard. So you're going to start off, obviously, and choose the language that works for you, and we will choose English United States. Here you have an adjustment for the zoom out, because you might notice in the corner it's a little squished up. So it looks like we need to adjust just a little bit. And let's see, usually you want to get that frame into the situation. You see the frame, and you line it up so that it is just kind of hidden by your TV, and that should be it. So it looks like for us, we want to go to 91%. No telling what it'll be for your TV. You use the remote and click next, and here we can choose a network, and I'm just going to leave it wired. I plugged it in ahead of time. If you go to wireless, it scans your networks, and you can see what you want. But I'm going to go ahead and stick with the wired network because I find that that's the easiest way to work with it. It then checks for a system update. It looks like we are all up to date. I like an OTA updater, so hopefully this will work out over the long time, and we're going to go okay. And so what you see right here is a really, really different look from Matricom. This is a totally different experience as far as the launcher. It used to use a stylized HAL launcher, and now it looks like they've got a whole new thing. I talked with somebody who explained that this is this is them. This is they put this all together from the start, and it comes preloaded with some things and some categories. For live TV, I like that it already has Sling. I've never heard of SBTV. Let's open that up. Info. It's probably going to want to connect with my Google. Alright, well here, I am not going to mess with that right now. We'll have to do something separate on SBTV sometime. Pluto TV is a really popular app. I'll tell you what, we just might have to pause this video and let me sign into Google real quick. Okay, so this is the Gbox Q3 all loaded up. Once you've gone through your wizard and all that, you get into your settings. And I want to take you through the home page. See, home is highlighted there in blue. I like the way it starts off. It's helpful because everything you need, for the most part, is right at the starting point. You'll notice up top, you've got all of the key settings, including something I love, an apps killer. See, that 28 apps killed. I've always liked that sort of thing in the Minix players, and so the fact that they put that in there is pretty cool. It's got a little section where you can get your Android alerts, just like a phone. Of course, big shock. You can get to your network information right here. So that means that you don't have to dive into anything in order to find it. If you have your wired connection, you can access it here. You can access your USB port. There's 2 USB ports like we said, so if you want to get to where that is, you can do it right there. It's got your section for your Bluetooth stuff, turning it on and off. And a quick link to all of the main settings for Android. Not only that, from this basic settings menu, you can do something really important, which is change these settings on your screen. So you can make it bigger, smaller. And that's something that a lot of people struggle with. It's sometimes very tricky to find it. And in this case, it's right there. So I really like that. The section also has a search for your apps right on the home screen. So you say, let's say you have Netflix and you want to find, you can search for it right here. And you see it starts with the ends, and then it just, scrambles it down. So there you are with that. Let's clear that out. So that is just sort of the basic layout of the home screen, and then you've got all these pre-done categories. I looked for a way to change these categories, but I couldn't figure it out. Maybe I'll figure it out later and can do something later on it. But when you click on something like videos, you'll see these big squares here. And what these actually are not pre-installed apps as much as they are links to the App Store for what you might be looking for. Once you've installed it, it will just launch the app. But see, this right here is an installation, right? That's just the Google Play Store. On the other hand, we have Netflix. We installed it, and it launches it from there. So that negates the need to actually add what I did here, adding the little Netflix icon. You don't need that. While we're in Netflix, let me show you something that I like. This app is navigable in Android. It isn't troublesome. You can click around on it, and you don't have to worry about whether you've got an air mouse or not. When you get into a show, that has multiple episodes, you do need to be able to point and click a little bit. And I'm not using the Gbox controller, but I can tell you this. You can actually drag on it by just putting the arrow in place, holding down the OK button, and going up and down. You just use the directional buttons and hold down the button. You hold down OK and the directional buttons, and you can actually get through the episodes of whatever given show that you want. And that's a really actually very, very important feature, because one of the more frustrating things about some Android boxes is that you jump into something like Netflix and you really can't use it effectively. We've installed some other things. I've always liked the PBS app. Tubi TV is one of my favorites. Of course, that had a quick launcher thing here. I was just trying to put some things on the screen to look at. But in general, this is kind of a neat layout. It's a real different look than what you had with the last Gbox. Not completely different, because the other one with the HAL launcher did have a vertical menu on the left that changed whatever you saw on the right. But it's a different look, and I like the kind of happy stock photos that they've got there. Music, they've suggested some good music apps. Again, these are installation things. Once we install Spotify, we can launch it from there. All of the apps in general are held right here in the apps section, so anything you download or that came pre-installed is right here. So that's great. Games doesn't actually come pre-installed with anything. It ought to just, actually, this really ought to be called App Stores, because here's where you find Google Play and the Matricom store. We'll jump into the Matricom store in a second. Live TV is more or less live TV options. Sling TV, SPB is a little bit lesser known sort of feature. It's got a lot of the kind of world news and things like that. It's kind of like what you get with something like Film On, but it is an option. Pluto TV, if you're not familiar with it, is a nice app. We've done a lot of videos on Pluto TV. And then Crackle, which isn't really live, so it's like they're just maybe they're just trying to get something on the screen. But something I really like about this, themes. Some devices, like Roku, has themes. You can change the background and things like that, and you can do that with this. So like, it starts off as a default with this black and gray looking theme, but you can really change it up. And you'll notice you get a different color on the highlighter. Go gray. I think everything stays white on gray. This is probably my least favorite theme, because then you have white writing on gray, and I don't find that particularly helpful. On the other hand, the fourth theme, I like the blue, the kind of Carolina blue. But I'm going to stick with the black theme, because that's what you're going to have when you get it out of the box. So let's take a look at that app store, or sorry, this section here where you got the different stores. The Google Play Store that you get here is the traditional Google Play Store. It's the one that you would have on a mobile device versus the kind of lean back Google Play Store that you have with the official Android TV devices. And then you've got the Matricom store, which is based out of Aptoide. It's really the Aptoide TV style store versus the Aptoide mobile store. And so they give you something that you can work with. Now, something that they've done with this thing is they could put the things they want in it. And one of the things that's in here that's really worth grabbing is Hulu for Android TV. Now take a look at this. It says Hulu for Android TV. When you jump into this, we've got it installed already. You'll notice that this is actually a TV-friendly version of Hulu that does not require any dragging or anything. You can navigate it with the included remote without any problem. You just click on things, you jump in, you go to the episodes. I mean, it works just like Hulu always did. And something I like about it is that this is the old version of Hulu versus that kind of over bright, over colorful, kind of harder to navigate version of Hulu. So you grab up something like this and you've got a different way to approach things. And I like that. I like that a lot. You can get the other version of Hulu on it, but that one really requires an air mouse that you've got to really point and click with and things like that. Like I said, you can use the traditional controller that comes with it, but I really like the fact that you can add that version of Hulu. And for the people who are out there saying, I don't like this new version of Hulu, it's too hard to find things, with something like the Gbox, you obviously don't have to worry about that. But in general, the applications in this are pretty nice. Most of them are TV-centered. You're not going to find a lot of spreadsheets and things like that in this because it's meant for TV-connected devices. They download quickly. You just go right in, you say you want it, it downloads it, and then it takes you through what you need to do to install it. And for the most part, if you need a mouse for it, it'll tell you. You might have seen that in the bottom of the screen. So you install it, and it just takes it right through for you. We are using a Wi-Fi connection right now, just because I wanted you to get a feel for what the Wi-Fi speed was like. In general, it is more recommended that you use Ethernet if you've got it. But you see here it says requires mouse, so you can be pretty sure that if you go into this app, it's not going to be particularly controller friendly. Although it says that on a number of things. I like air mouses. The controller for the Gbox is really not a bad controller. It's Bluetooth powered, which is nice with the connection. But using air mouses is always an easier way to demonstrate. And and to tell you the truth, I like being able to point at things just for the video, just so you know. That's why I'm using the air mouse. But that in general is pretty cool. Something else you can do with this is it has a nice OTA updater. It's actually really quick, really simple to use. You just go to it, you check for updates. It's all set right now. We did do an update when we first got it, and it worked just fine. It was nice and fast. But from the app screen, you can access everything. We've actually downloaded the Aptoid store. Like I said, that's more like the mobile device store, but just because it has some things in it that you can't find in the regular TV store. But in general, this is just like any other Android device. You can just find everything you got right here. And this is where things are going to be if you want to add something. Like let's say you're going to the videos section and you want to add something new. Now keep in mind, a lot of these apps, like the Nickelodeon app and things like that, they're apps that are like TV Everywhere apps. So you might get a few episodes of something, but this isn't like you get free Nickelodeon. Some people get confused with that. Just wanted to let you know that. But in general, this is nice. This is actually a really good look. And you press the home button and you're going to get taken right back here. Now you see that it did come with Kodi. Like, again, this was a link to the Kodi setup, to the download. Now what I did was I wanted to see how's it going to work with a heavy-handed Kodi build. So I installed something called Streams and just grabbed something that I thought looked really, really loaded to see how well it would perform. And really, I know that a lot of people who were watching this video do this kind of thing. So I wanted to make sure that it would do what you might be looking for. And I find that it works well enough. I'm not going to launch anything because I'm not going to get into any kind of copyright issues. But you can use this. But I find that the heavier your load is, the slower this goes. This isn't the most overpowered device. I'm going to go ahead and put your statistics and things like that. All of the, it's a quad core device, but it's not lightning fast. It's not the fastest on the market, but it's solid. But that's the look of the Gbox Q3. It's a pretty solid thing, and it's a real upgrade from where they were. Same look on the hardware, but the software is much prettier. I think it's easier to work with. I like the themes. There's a lot about it that's pretty nice. But I think the most usable stuff, to tell you the truth, is right here. If you explore the settings, you see that things that are up on the top are, right here again. Network, sound. If you need to uninstall an app, you go into the apps section, and here's where you can always force quit or uninstall something. Easy peasy. you shouldn't get lost on that. That's something that I always worry about with devices, is do you get lost in the menus? Clicking about, you're going to get a better feel for the sort of thing that you're dealing with here. So you see that it's a Model G3, version 7.1.8 Android, and that's good. I mean, that's a very, very, very new version of Android. It's going to hold it. It's going to hold up for a while. It even gives you the build type. So that's that. That's the Gbox Q3. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please like this video and share it with your friends. And check out our website, where we will have a more thorough, informative article very soon. I'm Ryan Downey, the streaming advisor. And as always, stream on, my friends.